What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video of Sid Travels. In this video I will tell you about things you should know before traveling to Tokyo. If you're new on this channel, click subscribe for more similar videos. Let's get started. If you're planning a trip to Japan, there you will fall in love with the intoxicatingly bustling, energetic and delicious city of Tokyo. Here are some things you would wish you knew before visiting and some tips to keep in mind. First, exchange currency for Japanese yen before traveling or head to the local ATM when you land. Japan has a cash society, and while a handful of places like most higher-end restaurants will accept cards, many small shops and eateries, most of them you will encounter will be cash only. On top of that, many Japanese ATMs would not accept an American debit card. To be safe, convert some currency into yen before you travel. If you need to find an ATM, Tokyo's convenience stores like 7-Eleven and Lawson are usually safe bets. Second, get a Pasmo card and take the subway everywhere. First of all, the Japanese subway is a glorious thing. It is so clean you could basically lick the floor, and it's so efficient you'll never wait more than a few minutes for a train to arrive. Cabs are prohibitively expensive, so expect to take the subway everywhere. It's not just cheaper, but it's also much quicker. On your first subway trip, buy a Pasmo card. The card costs about $5 plus whatever fare you put on it. When you want to ride the subway, you simply tap your card at the entrance. Then you can refill it whenever you are out of money. Third, and if you're traveling throughout the country, consider a Japan Rail Pass. If you're traveling beyond Tokyo to other cities via the high-speed bullet train, a JR pass is likely a good deal. A round-trip ticket from Tokyo to Kyoto, for example, will cost around $240, but a 7-day JR pass, which gives you an unlimited train access throughout the country, is just $30 more. The JR pass is a great idea for anyone who wants to explore the country. You can buy a JR pass online or through a licensed travel agent before you trip. Once you get to Japan, all you have to do is activate it and you are ready to ride. Fourth, prepare to be lost in translation. Literally. While in many countries you can rely on English to communicate, don't count on it in Japan. You have to use Google Maps constantly to get around. It will get you anywhere you need to go. Looking at the photos on restaurant menus and using Google Translate app as a fun way to communicate with locals and bartenders. At first, it can be outside your comfort zone, but by the end of the day, it's nice to embrace the translation barrier and feel very far from home in an entirely new place. Fifth, carry a backpack or something to store your garbage in. Living in New York City, I'm used to seeing garbage cans on every city block. In Tokyo, that's far from the case. You could walk a mile and not see a single public garbage bin. The easy solution? Carry some sort of backpack or tote where you can hold onto a trash until you find a place to throw it out. Sixth, there's way more to Japanese food than sushi. Lots of people say they've never visited Japan because they don't like raw fish. Turns out you could easily spend a lifetime in Japan experiencing the amazing cuisine without ever eating a piece of sushi. There's so much more to Japanese food, more than you could ever possibly eat in a single trip to Tokyo. You will love boisterous izakayas where small plates of grilled vegetables and steamed tofu are accompanied by generous pours of sake, yakitori dives where a single chef cooks chicken skewers over a charcoal fire, and the tempura counters where pieces of shrimp, sweet potato and mushrooms are fried like a form of art. On top of that, there's ramen, soba, incredible steak, pork katsu and even incredible international food from all over the globe. You don't have to like or even tolerate sushi to fall in love with Tokyo's food scene. Seventh, speaking of food, you don't have to spend a lot of money to eat extremely well. There are certain things that will always be expensive in Tokyo, such as omakase sushi meals, wagyu beef and kaiseki cuisine. But there is also a ton of affordable and incredible food. Street foods like onigiri, that's rice balls, gyoza, tamagoyaki, that's omelets, and okonomiyaki, these are the savory pancakes, are delicious and cheap food. Ramen or udon will set you back less than $10. And let's not forget about the amazing bento boxes you can buy at any train station. Convenience stores like Lawson, 7-Eleven, and Family Mart also sell great cheap eats like the beloved egg salad sandwiches. 8. There's more to Tokyo than crowds and skyscrapers. Before you visit Japan, you may picture the whole city to be like the images you have seen of Shibuya and Harajuku, larger than life, flooded with tourists and filled with never-ending skyscrapers. But that's like saying all of New York City is like Times Square, which is certainly not the case. As you explore Tokyo, you'll find lots of charming and quiet neighborhoods like Nakamiguro, Shimokitazawa, Daikaniyama, Ueno, Yanaka, and Kichijoji, with low-rise Japanese-style houses, serene temples, and lush gardens. In some of these neighborhoods, you might even find you are the only person on the whole block. 9. Make your dietary restrictions or preferences known at the beginning of a meal. Many restaurants in Tokyo are little more than a counter with a dozen seats where a single chef is preparing and serving the meal. In Japanese culture, it can be considered rude or offensive if you don't finish the food on your plate. So be sure to alert the server or chef about your dietary restrictions before your meal begins. 10. Prepare to get a little lost, especially when looking for restaurants. One thing that you will quickly realize in Tokyo is that incredible food can be found in unsuspecting places, like in the basement of a subway station or the first floor of a giant office building or even in a department store food court. Even with the help of Google Maps, you may get lost on countless occasions trying to track down shops and restaurants. The moral of the story: whether you are trying to make a restaurant reservation or planning out your day, give yourself some extra time and be prepared to get a little lost. 11th, follow the unwritten social cues when it comes to using public transportation. You'll immediately recognize that there is a clear system of order for boarding things like subways, trains, and even escalators. For example, there is no cutting the line or racing onto the subway train. The Japanese form organized lines at the demarcated areas and enter one by one without pushing or shoving. They do not eat or drink in the subway. Bullet trains have certain cars for reserved seats only. Escalator etiquette in Japan is the opposite of US etiquette. The Japanese stand on the left and allow people to walk up the right side. It's a good idea to follow cultural cues and watch what the locals are doing to understand the unwritten rules. Is there anything else you add? Let me know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.